Let me speak directly to you. Life is a mountain. Not a hill, not an easy trail, but a steep mountain, full of sharp rocks, violent storms, and painful falls. And no matter who you are, no one is going to carry you to the top. If you want to get there, you're going to have to climb with your own hands and knees. Yes, you're going to suffer. You'll bleed, you'll feel alone and exhausted, with every muscle screaming at you to give up. But do you know what's the most brutal part of this journey? No one cares what you're going through. No one is going to show up to ease your burden or give you a hand. This is between you and the mountain. And there are only two possible outcomes. Either you climb and win, or you stay in the valley with the weak and forgotten. Do you know what the mountain symbolizes? Your fight against the past, against your fears, against the limitations you've put in your own mind. Every rock you climb, every stumble, is a direct confrontation with the things that tried to keep you on the ground. And let me tell you, this fight is messy, painful, and thankless. You will fall, you will crawl, and you will taste the bitterness of doubt and loneliness. But that's exactly what makes the climb worthwhile. Because every meter you advance, every difficulty you overcome, is transforming you. It's stripping away everything weak and building something stronger. Think about where you started. Think about how deep you were. You were down there in the valley, looking up, with everyone saying you'd never make it. You climbed this mountain with your hands and knees like a beggar, pleading for a chance, fighting against everything and everyone. And do you know what's most incredible? You didn't stop. Now look at where you are. It may not be the top yet, but you're no longer in the valley. You've conquered every inch with blood, sweat, and tears. Every time you wanted to quit but kept going was a victory. And if you've made it this far, why the hell would you stop now? Let me be brutally honest. The mountain doesn't give second chances. It doesn't care about your excuses, your pain, or your exhaustion. It only cares about one thing. Do you have what it takes to keep climbing? Because if you don't, it will swallow you. It will throw you back into the valley and never look back. Climbing the mountain demands everything from you. It's not just physical strength, it's mental, emotional, and spiritual strength. It's resisting when your whole body is telling you to stop. It's staring into the abyss and saying, "You won't beat me." Do you know why so few reach the top? Because most people give up halfway. They look at the distance, the effort, the difficulties, and think, "This isn't for me." And do you know what happens to them? They return to the valley, to mediocrity, to a life of regret. But you're not like them, are you? You're not here to be just another face in the crowd. If you've already started this climb, already felt the pain, already faced the storms, then you owe it to yourself to continue. Because the top isn't for everyone. It's for those with the courage, determination, and resilience to fight until the end. The truth is, the ultimate goal, the top, is only part of the reward. The real transformation happens during the climb. Every step, every sacrifice, is shaping you, hardening you, preparing you to become someone who will never again accept life in the valley. So let me ask you, what are you going to do now? Stop halfway, look back, and think about what could have been. Or adjust the weight on your shoulders, take a deep breath, and keep climbing, even knowing there's still a long way to go. Because, in the end, there are only two types of people. Those who face the mountain and win, and those who live in the valley, complaining about how hard it is. Which one do you want to be? So what's it going to be? Will you stop and settle for almost, or will you finish what you started? The top is waiting, but not for long. The mountain doesn't forgive hesitation. Choose now. Either you keep climbing, or you accept living in the valley forever. Let me tell you a truth no one likes to hear. Pain is necessary. Yes, it burns, it hurts, it makes you doubt yourself. But deep down, it's pain that shapes you. It's suffering that strips away all softness, all weakness, and transforms you into someone who not only survives, but thrives. Strength comes from the emptiness left when the world strips away your softness. Do you know what that means? Every blow, every loss, every moment of despair is stripping away everything that weakens you. If you embrace the pain, if you learn to use it, it becomes fuel. If you run from it, it destroys you. The choice is yours. Suffering is the most brutal teacher you'll encounter in life, but it's also the most effective. It doesn't give you breaks, it has no pity, and it doesn't allow you to hide. Every time you feel pain, it's teaching you something. It's showing you where you're weak, where you need to grow, where you still lack resilience. But do you know what the problem is? Most people run from pain. They choose comfort, the easier path, the illusion of a life without suffering. And do you know what happens to them? Nothing. They remain weak, fragile, incapable of dealing with life's challenges. If you want to be strong, if you want to win, you have to learn to embrace pain, not as an enemy but as a tool. Because while you fight against it, it's trying to teach you. Do you think strength comes from comfort? From ease? From praise? Strength comes from chaos. Strength is what's left when the world takes everything from you, when you're on the ground, when nothing remains but your determination to rise again. Suffering is the price you pay for transformation. It will challenge you, test you, and try to break you. But if you persist, if you endure, you come out the other side as a stronger, more resilient, and more determined version of yourself. Without pain, there is no growth. Without suffering, there is no resilience. Without struggle, there is no victory. Do you know what suffering does better than anything else? It exposes who you truly are. It strips away all masks, all excuses, and puts you face to face with your essence. When everything is falling apart, when the pain feels unbearable, that's when you discover what you're made of. Will you break or continue? Complain or resist? Because it's easy to be strong when everything's going well. The true test of character comes when the world throws you into the abyss. And it's in that abyss where strength is built. For pain to make you stronger, you have to abandon weakness. And here's the hard part. That means letting go of a victim mentality. That means stopping asking, why is this happening to me? And starting to ask, what can I learn from this? Pain isn't unfair, it's impartial. It doesn't play favorites, it tests everyone. And only those who accept this reality, only those who use suffering as fuel, can transform it into strength. If you're trapped in your weakness, lamenting what you've lost, wishing life were easier, you'll never transform. But if you accept pain, if you face suffering head-on, you'll become someone who nothing can destroy. So, what are you gonna do? Keep running from pain, hiding in comfort, avoiding suffering at all costs? Or will you stand up, look pain in the eyes, and say, give me everything you've got, because I'm gonna use it to become stronger? Strength comes from the emptiness left when the world strips away your softness. That's exactly it. Suffering isn't here to destroy you, it's here to transform you, but only if you have the courage to face it. Because those who retreat from pain never reach the top, but those who embrace it conquer the impossible. Let me be blunt. Your strength doesn't come from anyone. It doesn't come from praise, from support, from those who applaud or motivate you. The strength that truly matters, the one that sustains you in the darkest moments, comes from within. And if you're still waiting for approval or validation from someone to act, let me tell you, you've already lost. You don't need anyone's approval. Your strength comes from you. This isn't some feel-good talk. It's reality. The world doesn't care about what you want or how you feel. It will test you, knock you down, and if you're weak, it will crush you. And that's precisely why your strength needs to be internal. Because in the end, no one will save you but yourself. Do you know what truly makes you strong? It's not easy victories or moments of glory. It's the scars. Every pain you faced, every disappointment, every fall, they've all shaped you. These marks aren't weaknesses. They're proof of what you've already overcome. They're reminders that you endured things that would have broken others. But here's the point. Your scars only have value if you learn to use them. If you see them as burdens, they'll paralyze you. But if you see them as fuel, they'll push you forward. True strength comes from looking at your pain and saying, this made me who I am. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to carry your burden. No one is going to live your life for you. And do you know why? Because no one can. Your strength doesn't come from applause, likes, or recognition. These things are empty, fleeting. If you base your strength on what others say or think, you're building a castle on sand. True strength is internal. It's the voice in your head that tells you to keep going when everything feels lost. It's the determination that doesn't depend on anyone. Because in the end, only you can decide whether to fight or give up. Strength isn't about never falling. It's about getting up every time the ground calls you back. It's resilience. It's enduring the pressure, the weight, the loneliness, and still moving forward. And this resilience doesn't come from outside, it comes from within. It's something you build with every challenge you overcome, every time you face pain and emerge stronger. Resilience separates those who survive from those who thrive. Because those with inner strength don't just endure storms, they learn to navigate through them. And the only way to build this strength is to stop relying on external sources and start trusting what's inside you. Stop living your life waiting for someone to validate your dreams or your actions. You don't need anyone's approval. If you believe in something, go after it. If you want something, fight for it. Because in the end, the people who unconditionally support you are rare, and even they can't carry you. Internal strength is emotional self-sufficiency. It's knowing that even when no one believes in you, you believe in yourself. Even when the world says no, you say yes. That's what makes you unstoppable. True strength begins in the mind. If your mindset is weak, you're weak. But if you build a mindset of steel, nothing can stop you. That means eliminating doubts, fears, the what-ifs. It means fully trusting your ability to face whatever comes, because you know the strength you need is already within you. Inner strength doesn't depend on circumstances. It doesn't depend on money, status, or luck. It depends on who you decide to be. And if you're not willing to build this, you're choosing to remain weak. So what's it going to be? Will you keep looking outside for what only you can build inside? Will you keep waiting for others' approval while letting your potential wither away? Or will you rise now and decide that your strength comes from you, that you are enough to face anything? You don't need anyone's approval. Your strength comes from you.